Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to G Bear's Off-Grid Chews. Ways. Yeah, it's after supper time, and all the dogs and puppies are all nice having their quiet time here. They all got a chew, and they just lay back and just chew away. And boy, I'll tell you what, they're sharpening their teeth pretty good. Cinnamon here is a little pig. You eat them too fast, little girl. You sure do. You're such a sweetie. I can't believe somebody hasn't scarfed you up yet. Yeah, she's a real adorable little dog. I've got Cinnamon and Brandy and Limpy on the brown ones. And then this is DOG. DOG was the first stray dog to show up here. And the house that I'm leaning on right here was built for him. But he doesn't fit in there anymore. He goes in the big dog house now and sleeps in there. That's the way things are going around here. Nice day today. Started off really overcast, looked like it was going to rain, and I said, wow, there's still some clouds around, but nothing's expected here. And the big storm that they were talking about that might be coming in, excuse me, let me go up to number 1. There we go. So the big storm they're talking about coming in and giving us more rain has stalled off the coast of California. It's out in the ocean, and it's dumping most of its moisture out there. So that atmospheric river is going to be a atmospheric creek when it gets to us. Not much heavy rains expected out of it. So what did I do today? Well, something I've been wanting to do for a while. And I don't know why I just all of a sudden decided to do it, but this thing's sitting up here. That's an old blown out tire I picked up off the side of the road. A blown out truck tire. And these little strips on the top, those are pieces that I just cut off of it. I cut a piece off each end. And what for? Well, here's a hint. And what's that for? Let's turn on a light. Ugh. Right here. And the shiny that you're looking at on there is Flex Seal. And no, I'm not promoting their product. I just happen to have some. So I coated the inside part where the feet go with I got some on my hands. It's got to take a while to dry. But yeah, it's got some nice tire tread on the bottom here. And left and right. And I got some leftover heavy-duty straps from tied-on straps that broke. And I'll be making the pieces that go between the toes. Now, when I first came to California, when I got here, I had been freshly divorced, and I took off on my motorcycle in a snowstorm out of New England. And that was the day the divorce was finalized. So I said, I'm out of here, and I just took off on my motorcycle and I headed south. And at the time when I left, I was all bundled up. But anyway, I left everything to the X. I got nothing. I just took my motorcycle and $139 in cash. And I just hit the road and make a new start. And anyway, when I got to California, I couldn't go any further west because the ocean got in the way. And I had to find a way of making some money so that I could get a place to live and pay rent and all that stuff. I was living in a tent. So I would go along the freeways and pick up blown up tires. And then I used what little bit of money I had left to go to a Kmart that was in that town at the time. And I bought a jigsaw and a pop rivet gun and a pair of tin snips. And I started making sandals. And I called them beach sandals. And I sold them at the beaches off the coast of California. Well, that's when I found out that unless you're here illegally, you don't get to sell on the streets. And I was a U.S. citizen, so the cops came, and I was making some good money. I mean, I was with the tires I was picking up, I was selling probably 10 to 20 pairs of these a day, and I would stay up all night long making them. And the money I was making was just great. It was paying for my campground and my food and that stuff. So I decided, well, I'm going to keep doing this, and whenever I had free time, I was making more of these or driving the freeway and picking up more sandals in the later hours. And during the daytime, I'd be at the beach selling these, and people loved them because they could go into the water with them and not ruin them. And the way I did them was I just put a single strap over here. So they were like sandals. Your foot slid under the strap. They didn't have the little toe ring or anything like that. And I just pop riveted them in with 4 pop rivets on each side. And that was the end of that. Well, what had happened was somebody called the cops on me and said there's a street solicitor out here. And I guess it was one of the local stores that was getting pissed off I was making so much money. And somebody went in there and bragged about my sandals, my beach sandals. And well, they came and they confiscated all the cash I had and all the flip-flops I had. And they said, if you want them, you're going to have a court date on this date. And you can go face the judge and see if he says to release the stuff back to you. But you can't sell here without a solicitor's license. New thing I learned about California on my first episode here. Anyway, long story short, I quit making them. But I had a pair that lasted me, God, 10, 15 years. They just don't wear out. And I said, well, I'm going to make me a pair of those for this summer. So I started making them. And these are, I like the old days, I would always get the, what they call them, nylon ply. These are steel belted. And the steel belted, you got to be real careful with the little frayed steel that sticks out of the edges and out of the insides. And that's why I decided to coat these with the Flex Seal. And what I would do on the ones that I sold when I first got here, it was nothing on the insides because they were nylon ply. They were soft. There was just pieces of thread sticking out, and they didn't hurt your feet. But the little steel belted stuff here, there's one right there that's got to get off of there. So anyway, when this dries up, I'll be working on the straps that go on these, and then I'll have a pair of flip-flops to wear this summer without having to spend any money on them. So that was one of the things that I did. And one other quick thing before I cut this video off. Well, what are you doing over there, Cinnamon? Such cuties. I cleaned up the area under my brake here. This is a great thing because I needed to get in there, but I also found all kinds of stuff in there that I'd been looking for that was just tossed on the ground and got covered up with other stuff. So now I've got that all cleaned out, and I'll put my gate back in place here, and that keeps puppies and stuff out of there. I also had that old Harbor Freight blower motor there, and on the job site the guys were using it and said it just quit, it doesn't work anymore. And I tried it a bunch of times and it didn't work. So I pulled that out of the box and I got it over here, and I fired up my air compressor, and I got my blower out and I blew out everything. I blew out the insides all around, and I blew out the switch, and guess what? It works. So now I got a nice cooling fan for the summertime. That'll come in handy. I had 2 or 3 of those things, and that's the only one I could find here, so I guess it's the only one I have left. All right, everybody, I want to thank you for joining me. I just got contacted by another sponsor who wants me to review one of their products, and it's an ideal product for off-grid. Just totally ideal. So I said, yes, send it to me. I will do the video on it. And you guys that are off-grid or planning to move off-grid or on your way off-grid or have been off-grid for a while, you're going to love this product. You really will. And for those of you who aren't really off-grid, you might love this product too. So we'll see when that gets here. This is G Bear signing off.